All right, let's talk about something that you have almost definitely seen, even if you didn't have a name for it yet. It's kind of taking over everything. Our social feeds, our search results, maybe even our jobs. We're talking about AI slop.
And it really all starts with one simple question. Have you seen Shrimp Jesus? I'm serious. Or maybe Jesus fly fishing, or Jesus made out of plastic bottles. These totally bizarre, nonsensical AI-generated pictures just flooded platforms like Facebook. And everyone was left asking, what on earth is going on here? Well, what you're looking at, that is the face of AI slop.
So, what is this stuff exactly? Let's nail down a definition, because once you get this, the whole crazy phenomenon starts to make a lot more sense.
So at its heart, AI slop is just low-quality junk made by generative AI. But the two things that really define it are, 1, a total lack of effort, and 2, an absolutely crushing volume of it. It's digital clutter. It's made to be fast and cheap, not good or substantive. You can basically think of it as the AI version of spam.
Now, the word itself isn't brand new. It kind of started bubbling up around 2022 in some corners of the internet, slang for this cheap AI content. But then, boom, it exploded into the mainstream in 2024. People like Simon Willison started talking about it, big AI models got integrated into things like Google Search, and suddenly, everyone had a name for the junk that they were seeing everywhere.
And I really do mean everywhere. This is not just a weird social media thing anymore. The slop has escaped, and it is invading every single corner of our digital lives, and sometimes even the real world. Let's start with a classic, the infamous Willie's chocolate experience. You've probably heard about this one. The promoters used these beautiful, whimsical AI images to sell tickets, but when people showed up, they walked into a nearly empty, sad-looking warehouse. It was a perfect and kinda hilarious example of how online slop can lead to some very real-world disappointment. But then we get into the much higher stakes world of politics. We're seeing AI-generated images used to create fake political endorsements, like these deepfakes of Taylor Swift fans wearing shirts that supposedly support Donald Trump. See, when slop enters the political world, it goes from just being annoying to a potential tool for straight-up misinformation. You'd hope that science would be safe from this, right? Well, nope. A peer-reviewed scientific journal actually had to retract an article after it published, this. An AI-generated diagram of a rat with, let's just say, anatomically impossible features and labels that made zero sense. It's a pretty stark reminder that even our most rigorous systems are getting polluted. And finally, yep, it is coming for our jobs. Researchers have even given it a name, work slop. This is AI-generated stuff that looks polished and professional on the surface, but it's completely empty inside. It looks good, but it actually ends up creating more work for everybody else who has to go back and fix it or figure out what it was even trying to say. Which, leads us to the billion-dollar question, why? Why is the internet being absolutely flooded with this garbage? Well, as with most things, you just gotta follow the money. To really get the why, we have to talk about a concept from Cory Doctorow called enshittification. This quote just nails the life cycle of so many online platforms. They start out great for users, then they start serving businesses, and finally, they just serve themselves, running the user experience into the ground to make a buck, until eventually the whole thing just dies. Slop is a very clear symptom of being in that final, ugly stage. So how does that actually work? Well, it breaks down pretty simply. The goal is what's called engagement farming. Those weird shrimp Jesus pictures, they're designed to make you stop scrolling, comment WTF is this, and then share it. Platforms like Facebook then pay the creators for all that engagement. And since US audiences bring in higher ad money, a lot of this slop is made specifically to appeal to them. The bottom line is, the whole system rewards speed and quantity, not quality or truth. Okay, so we know it's everywhere and we know why it's happening. But what's the actual harm? What's the big so what of living in an ocean of digital slop? Well, it goes a lot deeper than just being annoying. Researchers are actually building frameworks to measure this stuff systematically. This one here breaks down the failures of slop into 3 main buckets. First, information utility. Is the content actually useful or is it just fluff? Second, information quality. Is it true or is it biased and full of errors? And third, style quality. Is it coherent or is it just a rambling, robotic mess? This gives us a way to diagnose exactly why a piece of content feels like junk. But the damage isn't just about bad articles or weird pictures. The AI systems that churn out all this slop can have much deeper, hidden flaws.
And when we rely on them, we risk making their built-in biases a much bigger problem for all of us.
This is honestly kind of shocking. Research shows that these AI models are incredibly fragile. When you try to fix an AI's knowledge about one thing, you can accidentally break something else entirely. Look at these charts. After engineers made some edits, the AI's accuracy dropped a lot, specifically on topics related to Asian and African groups. The takeaway is pretty scary. A very act of trying to make an AI better can unintentionally make its biases worse.
So, is this just our future now? An endless sea of AI junk? Well, not necessarily. There is a pushback happening, and it's all focused on finding ways to reward real, human quality. A great example of this is Google's EEET framework. It stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Basically, their search algorithm is being trained to ask questions like, was this made by someone with actual life experience in this? Is this person a real expert? Are they trustworthy? It's a massive attempt to algorithmically separate the good stuff from the slop.
But this whole situation leads us to a much bigger, almost existential question about the internet itself. Are we just doomed to an even sloppier future?
The rise of slop pours gasoline on something called the dead internet theory. This is the idea that the internet isn't really a place for people to connect with other people anymore. Instead, it's becoming a place dominated by bots and AI, creating content for other bots and AI, while actual human beings become, well, rare.
And that's the final, unsettling question I want to leave you with. As we're drowning in all this slop, are we just watching the internet change from a global village into a ghost town, where the only voices you hear are just the echoes of algorithms talking to themselves? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it?